Almost every year, I'm lucky enough to visit the beautiful island of Jersey for a family holiday. This place has some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, one of the best zoos in the world, and it also has a ton of brilliant charity shops. So of course, it's time for another pickups video. Before I get to the Jersey pickups, there are a few other things to talk about. I'm still well on the way with the complete set of the official PlayStation 1 magazine. There was a retro games fair just before Jersey where I made a trade of my duplicate magazines for some that I don't have, well that I didn't have but now I do. Issue 61 and 62, which I traded with Sega Mags. This guy is at a lot of the retro games fairs and he's also going for a complete set of magazines. And he posts a lot of really interesting stuff on his social media covering various Sega magazines from different eras. You should definitely check him out. He also had a few demos to offer me, and it's getting to the point now where I have so many of these demos that the ones that I'm missing are becoming really quite hard to find. I suppose that's both a good and a bad thing. I think for the first time ever at the Retro Games Fair there was a food stall on this time, selling fudge, which was utterly delicious. I was also featured on Mort's Moments channel, as he always does the videos for these events.
Well, just want to know, what did you think of this event?
It was really good.
Really good?
Yeah.
Nice amount of stalls?
Yeah. Something new, we didn't have a food stall last time.
Oh, no, there's been a food stall. So what have you bought inside today?
Some vanilla fudge.
You went for some fudge, and is that what you're holding in your hand there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also bought some fudge.
You got some fudge as well?
I'll show you mine.
Oh!
Yeah.
Is that how tasty the fudge is?
It's gone.
It's gone, because you ate it.
I must have done, yeah.
Yeah. Is that how good the fudge is?
Yeah. It was absolutely delicious,
Yeah. We have...
As I've been rather skint lately, that was about it for the Retro Games Fair, but I've also been getting really lucky with some CEX buys at the minute. Picked up Blue Dragon for really cheap. This is one that I've obviously wanted in my collection for a long time, with it being Nobuo Uematsu that does the music, and this is probably one of his best soundtracks actually. And of course another legend, Akira Toriyama, doing the artwork. You can't really go wrong. But I'm looking forward to playing it and seeing if the game can live up to the big names that are attached to it. Another very cheap one and a really nice box here, it's StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. I've seen this around in charity shops quite a lot, but it always seems like the box is either completely battered or it has some horrible little sticker on it that doesn't seem like it'll come off very easily. And I wanted this in reasonably good condition because I am a huge fan of this game and its sequels. It will probably come as no surprise, but I did pick up a new game recently from Ryu ga Gotoku Studios, and it's Judgment, the latest game in the Yakuza franchise that takes a bit of a different spin on it. You're now a detective who's trying to get to the bottom of a series of murders. Despite from a story perspective this game being just as strong as any other Yakuza game, there are quite a lot of niggles which add up to this game being quite a lot more frustrating. Some strange attempts at being more of a modern game, I suppose you would say. Like if a door can be opened, there's these little smartphone style icons that just get in your face everywhere you go. And the option to turn these off would have been a complete no-brainer, but they didn't seem to think that would be an issue for most people. And although of course this game isn't meant to focus as much on combat as the other games, the combat system they have in this game is a bit more confusing and sluggish and nowhere near as fluid as it was in the previous game Yakuza 6. Anyway, enough of that, let's move on to the pickups from Jersey, starting with this amazing book, The Making of Judge Dredd. This book has a ton of interesting stuff in it, starting way back from the conception of the character of Judge Dredd in the comics, moving through some producer interviews of when they were planning how to do the film and who they should get to direct and things like that, And then of course you have all the behind the scenes photographs and explanations of how they achieve certain things within this amazing movie. Even though this book isn't in the best of conditions, I thought it was a really unique find, and it made for some interesting reading on the plane home. A few cheap games from the Jersey charity shops now. The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena, which also contains a remastered version of Escape from Butcher Bay, which I've heard is a very good game. I am a fan of the Chronicles of Riddick movies, especially Pitch Black, but I haven't yet got around to playing these, so looking forward to giving them a go. Don't miss this action blockbuster, official Nintendo magazine says. It's Red Steel. Now, I'm pretty sure I've played this before and not enjoyed it at all. I don't know if I enjoyed many of the Wii games where you had to sort of throw around the Wiimote, but this is kind of a little piece of history because obviously it was a first-person shooter where you had to use motion controls, and that hadn't been done that much before this point. I can't remember whether it's this one that's better or Red Steel 2 that's better, but I've heard that one of them is better than the other. But yeah, again, this is worth having in the collection at least. One other thing that Jersey is known for is its great surf, so it's kind of fitting that I should pick up Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. This is a game that I've had in the past and played quite a lot of it actually. It's kind of not really like any other games I've played, to be honest, although I suppose you could say that of surfing anyway, that it's not really like many other things. The only other surfing game I've played is a bodyboarding game on the PS1, which was pretty terrible. But I'm surprised that surfing games haven't sort of taken off a bit more, really, and surprised that we haven't seen many modern renditions of surfing games. Some bold claims on the back here. So many waves to choose from, you'll never surf the same wave twice. I'm pretty sure I remember that once you started a level, the first wave that you got was always the same wave, and maybe there was a few variations within each level, but saying you'll never surf the same wave twice is definitely misleading here. Anyway, if you're a fan of surfing and you can find this for cheap, say like 50p or £1, I'd definitely recommend this one. Next we've got the apparently limited edition Darkness 2, and this includes the poster inside here, which unfortunately has a little rip in it, but it's really cool nonetheless. Did enjoy the first game in the series, played it on hard mode, and there were some sections that really took, a lot of concentration to get through. I think it was a bit unbalanced towards the end, but overall a really good game. Will the Darkness 2 be better or worse than the first? That remains to be seen. Another Terry Pratchett novel to add to the collection, this one's Masquerade. I've actually started reading the Discworld novels right from the beginning now, which I've never done before. I read The Colour of Magic and then I read The Light Fantastic. Both were brilliant, but The Light Fantastic was really a cut above most other books that I've read, and that's become one of my favourites now. Once I finished Light Fantastic, I went straight onto Equal Rights, which is always a good feeling to just go straight on to the next one. And again, that's one of the reasons why collecting things like this is so good, because you can just go straight on to the next one because you know you have them in your collection. Last but not least is something that I've had my eye out for a very long time, and when I saw it on the shelf, I pretty much was just like, oh no, we won't be able to fit that in the suitcase. So I asked my mum, and actually she did have room in her suitcase for 2 Joytech dance mats for the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Now, the box is in quite bad condition here, but that's only because someone has put 2 of these dance mats into a box that was meant to only hold 1, and for £5 I think that was quite a good deal. I'm not really bothered about the box not being in perfect condition as long as I have the mats themselves, and they have a bit of extra protection there anyway, and for £5 I think that was a really good deal. However, one problem is we didn't know whether the dance mats were actually going to work once we got them home, just because there was nowhere there to test them or anything. So now it's the moment of truth, but which dancing stage game should we play? Fever, Euromix, or Disney Mix? Well, I think we all know the answer to that one.
Is this it then?
Yeah, you go.
Oh my god. So it's not started yet, has it?
No. Oh, missed it. You see when the arrow hits the...
Well, I don't know. What's it meant to hit? You've not told me how to do it.
When the arrow hits that
Hits
thing.
what? That thing?
Yeah.
I see now.
And it's in time to the music as well. Maybe you should have watched me do it first.
Yeah, that might do it. I'm getting this now. Two at the same time. Oh, fine. Oh my god.
You failed.
Well, that's not a surprise.
I didn't even know you could fail.
Shown your best dancing.
Really?
Before I sign off, just a quick word about Jersey Zoo or Durrell Zoo. They have a charity shop, which is where I got some of this stuff from, obviously. But the zoo itself is a conservation centre. It's one of the best zoos, you know, in the world. And if you know a thing or two about Jerry Durrell, who founded it, you'll know he was up there as one of the top conservationists alongside David Attenborough. So I just wanted to leave you with a few of these photos that I took of the Durrell Zoo and say that if you ever are in Jersey, definitely do not pass up the opportunity to go there. I've been Jake of theretroperspective.com. Thanks very much for watching, and if you liked this video, please subscribe.